Welcome, fair people of YouTube, to episode 0 of our new series, Arena Guide, or how I like to call it, Arena Compendium. But that's TM'd by a mass, so yeah, let's call it Arena Guide. So guys, this is of course focusing on the Take 2, just in case in the future we get more mods. I want to say that here, because this guide will be up to date basically forever. Arena won't change, unless, you know, they change the mechanics on Arena, in which entire my point is invalid, so yeah, no point even bringing that up. So how to get to Arena? You click this Arena button and then into Take 2. I already have the Arena run bot, but you either pick the ticket, the rupees or the crystal as your payment for the entry. And here's the description. Choose a total of 15 pairs to build a 30 card Take 2 deck. This deck can be used to fight up to 5 matches and win rewards. So Arena is the best way to grind packs, because if you do average and let's say you do every other match, you will go 2-3, and then you will go 3-2, and then you will go 2-3 again, and so on. You will actually earn exactly 100 gold per 2 runs by spending 150, which means that you basically earn a free pack, let's say, for, well, 2 runs, but since you spend a bit more, you are basically getting the same amount of rewards as you would just buy packs. But you can get better at Arena if you play it, and you can also get lucky, even if you are new to the Arena, and roll some higher rewards. Okay, so let's jump into it, right? I paid with rupees and I haven't started drafting yet. So what I want you to show you guys now is this. This is the 3 classes. You get 3 random classes and pick one in order to begin your draft. I want to talk about tiers right now, because, you know, it's in every single game with classes that classes are better than the other or worse. And in case of Shadowverse, the arena meta, the constructed meta and the tournament meta is completely different. So let's now talk about arena meta, right? Of course, what makes you a good class, right? I will actually take this moment and go into our collection. What makes a good class? Well, there are 2 things. In Arena you play on tempo and on value, right? So the best way to play with a high tempo and gain a good value is consistency of your curve. Which means you play a good amount of 2 drops, which can fill your curve whenever you feel like it. A good amount of 4 drops, so you can regularly evolve on turn 4 when you are going second. And also a good amount of 5 drops, so you can regularly evolve with the full value when you are going first. This will be our most important drops. 2 drops, 4 drops and 5 drops. Now look at that. If we actually check class by class, right? I want to talk by tiers, but let's see something that is by many people considered the best arena class, and that is because it's extremely easy to draft. I'm talking about Royal, or as we call it, Swordcraft. We have to hide the standard expansion, as standard expansion is actually out of the arena. You cannot play with standard cards, and you also cannot play with basic silvers. These cards got deleted of the arena. There is also a lot of different cards, like for example D-Shift or Path to Purgatory, that are also banned in the arena, and you will never roll them. Right, so look at Swordcraft. I said that 2 drops are really important, right? What do we have here? Good 2 drop, 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 very good 2 drop actually, very good 2 drop, and very good 2 drop. Also Whole Soul Swing, Shield of Flame, both are decent. The only bad 2 drop is Unbridled Fury, and some people would say that Fearless Banneret is also bad. It's true, it's definitely weaker than other 2 drops, because what you really want for your 2 drop in Arena is to be consistent, right? So you don't want it to die from the 1 drop, you don't want it to die from a simple spell. That's why Fearless Banneret is a bad 2 drop, because it dies from a lot of things, including 1 drops. Now, I also say that 4 drops are important, right? So what does Sword have on 4? We have White General, which is great, but usually won't be helpful. Floral Fencer is sadly banned. It's no longer a playable card in Arena, but maybe it's better, because this card literally ruled the Arena. We have Mirage Defender, which is a good 4 drop, and you can find it in Bronze tier.
We have Amelia, which you will sometimes see in the gold/legendary tier, and there is no shame in picking it. We have Geno, probably the best single 4-drop in the game. Gawain, which is also playable, but you have to build a deck around it, and Shroud Assassin. So our 4-drops are not the greatest, right? But now look at our 5-drops. We have Ninja Master, which has Stealth, that is a very good ability on Arena. We have Assault Commander, which works if you have some other officers on board. It's not the worst, but generally you don't want to graft him. We have Avant Blader, which is a 5/6 after evolution, and also draws you 2 cards. Insane. We have Albert, who you will probably never play on 4. We have Monica, so insane on 5. Luminous Mage, so insane on 5. Tristan is pretty bad, alright. White Ridge Swarmman, so insane of 5. Kunoichi Master, so insane of 5. Council of the Cardinals is also great on 5. Cyclone Blade, well, maybe not really. And Support Cannon, probably not where you are going with it, but it's still possible to draft Support Cannon deck on Arena. So guys, as you can see, we have some of the best 2-drops and some of the best 5-drops in Sword. That means they are extremely good while going first. This is probably the only class which wants to go first, because they are probably have this highest reach. Also in cards like, let me find it, here, Fangblade Slayer. This card has extreme reach, Leonidas extreme reach, Captain Wolfried extreme reach. They have so many ways to finish you off, especially Koga Kunoichi. This is a silver and guarantees 6 damage on turn 8, unless, you know, you do something funny about her. But this deck, this class is so easy to draft. You have Finisher on silver, you have Consistent Curve on silver, you have freaking Luminous Mage, which is the best card on 5, right? You get 2 units and evolve for free. This is so good. And guys, this is why people think that Sword is the best class. Simply because it's easy to draft and it's very consistent. And consistency is the key in Arena. But what I like to say about Sword is the most win percentage on Arena is probably Sword. But most 5-0 run is definitely not Sword, alright? Because Sword is very consistent, but that also means it is consistent in bad drafts. I mean, no, that doesn't mean it, but yeah, it's kind of the opposite what it means. But like, you cannot be consistent and OP at the same time. If you are high rolling someone, you get 5-0. If you are consistent, you usually will get 4-1. And Sword is perfect example of getting 4-1 every single time. It's very easy to draft Sword, and you will be satisfied with the results most of the cases. Now, if we look at another good class, which is Shadow. Why am I talking about Shadow right after Royal? Because these 2 decks are both known for being able to go aggressive on your opponent. If you look at Shadow, look at the amount of 2-drops we have. We have Spartoid Sergeant, Dark Conjurer, Sexton, Soul, Squasher is amazing, Usher of Styx is amazing, Demon Eater, the newest addition, not so good. So as you can see, we have very limited amounts of 2-drops, right? This is the only problem of Shadow. If you actually are able to find enough 2-drops with Shadow, you win every single time, because, well, as long as you have consistent curve, as long as you don't miss your 2-drops, you will win with Shadow, because they are aggressive and their consistency is so high up on the top. Like, look at Death Chaser. This is a premium 3 mana 2/3 that will guarantee you a lot of shadows to work with. When you have shadows to work with, you can get some insane swings, like Feathered Patroller. It's so OP, like Necromancy is the best ability in Arena. This is why Shadow is also at the top tier. We also have very effective removal in the form of Deathbrand, also Undying Resentment, also Zombie Party, also Pact with the Nether God, also Voices of Resentment, so you can go extremely efficient mid-range with it. Playful Necromancer, of course, banned. Then we have Necro Assassin, Nightmare Executioner, which is crazy insane, Death Sledger, which you don't want to draft, but we'll talk about what you want and don't want to draft in classes later. And of course, Caterpillar of Riddles with Alice help you to go a bit on the neutral side. Commander of Destruction, simple best 5-drop in the game. Cheiron is also insane. Dolobred Warrior is also insane. Well, Odile, I could go on and put these examples infinitely, but it's not the point of the video, guys. It's just to quickly tell you why the classes are good and why you should play them and how you should draft them. So again, Shadow is really good because we play on Necromancy. You use the Shadows, you are the only class that can use this additional resource. Then we have... let me check this again because I foolishly quitted. Then another class that is really good is Dragon. Why Dragon? Because Dragon has possibility of ramp. And while the ramp is really inconsistent, there is another thing that Dragon has. It is discard and draw. And these two mechanics are simply insane because, look at that, if you have Lux Fan Kit and you discard him, you basically say that your card that discarded a card for you not only didn't have a drawback of discarding a card, but also generated 2 mana for you, so you can cast the Lux Fan Kit for free. This is so good, right? Then look at the other card, Dragon Summoner. It's a 2 mana 1/2, sure, nothing great, but it's good enough on Arena, and it also draws you a card. And not any card, you are guaranteed to get a class card, and class cards are better than neutral, most of the cases, of course. We also have a very efficient removal in form of Iron Scale Dragonfolk, Griffon Knight, as I talked about this card, Dragon Scyther, also very good card. And I could go on and on, but we lost Dragon Warrior, but we have Siegfried and Pyrox and Dragon and Rahab and Zell. It's a lot of 4-drops, that's why Dragon is so good going first and second. Because if you go first, you can ramp up with Dragon Oracle and play a 4-drop on turn 3, or if you are going second, you can even ignore the ramp and just play a 4-drop on 4 and you will be perfectly fine because you have so many 4-drops to evo. Also Elder Tortoise, well, maybe it's not a 4-drop, but sure. Cards that you definitely want to avoid are cards like Dragon Slayer Price. It's not worth it, just. Cards like Queen Serpent that give you very small reward for playing them on Overflow. And yeah, and that's basically it. Everything else is good. You kind of... the very controversial card is Ebon the Beast Warrior, which kind of discard your card, right? This is simply a 7 mana 6/8 taunt that discards a card. It's nothing great, right? You would look at it. But you have to look at it from Shadowverse perspective, because in Hearthstone this card would be pretty bad. I mean, what if the Bog Creeper discarded you a card? You would be pretty sad, because this is literally a Bog Creeper that discards you a card. But you have to look like, first of all, you are getting a 14 stats in one card, and second of all, it's a ward. Wards are extremely good because look at how much the resources your opponent has to put into this. Curve is much lower in Shadowverse than in Hearthstone or other games. Like in Hearthstone, 3 mana 3/4 is standard. You are very happy in Shadowverse if you play 3 mana 2/3. If you want better ability, it's usually 3 mana 2/2, right? Also, Dragon has Conflagration, Draconic Lance, very good removal, Lightning Blast, one of the not so many things that can deal with Seraph. It's basically only Lightning Blast and Odin. And we have also Fortress Crab, which is infinite value, but this is a meme. I just love Fortress Crab. It's my wallpaper on my phone. Then you have Imperial Dragoon, and this is the controversial card I wanted to talk about, because people don't realize that a 9 mana 5/5 is perfectly fine. 5/5 is what I consider the breaking point of high stats. As long as the card is 5/5, it's a high stat card, and you have to be afraid of it. Which means that no matter if you pay 5 mana or 9 mana for a 5/5, it's still a high stat, and on Arena it's as good as a 5 mana 5/5 as 9 mana 5/5, right? Of course, a 5 mana 5/5 is better, but you are not sad if you play 9 mana 5/5. So if your hand is empty and you play Imperial Dragoon, as your entire turn you play just a 9 mana 5/5, you are fine with it. If you discard other cards, you have to evaluate them very well, whether you want to use them first or not. But Imperial Dragoon is this great, how do you call it, cantrip card that will often come in handy with the discard. Alright, so this is Dragon, guys, and these are probably my top 3 classes. Dragon, Royal, and Necromancy. Followed by that, we have probably the tier of Blood and Heaven, which, well, because like I actually have a very easy breakdown of these classes. I don't think we need to continue with this video by analyzing every class. Royal, so Swordcraft, Shadowcraft, and Dragoncraft are the most consistent classes. They are the most well-rounded around removal, consistent curve, late game and early game. They are the most tempo-based cards, our classes. Then we have Blood and Heaven, which are very draft reliant, because Blood is extremely good if you draft it aggressively. Probably it's better than these 3 classes if you get good aggressive draft with Blood. And Heaven is better than these 3 classes if you get a good defensive draft with Heaven. I'm talking about Aegis, Seraph, some good cycles, some healing, some board clears. It's hard to draft it, but you would be surprised how often you will actually get it. The biggest problem is getting this consistent win condition, and Heaven is actually the only class that has the consistent unbeatable win condition in form of Aegis and Seraph. Seraph, of course, beatable, you can Odin it, you can Lightning Blast it, but it's very rare that your opponent will do it. So yeah. And then our last draft is what I like to call synergy draft, which is Runecraft and Forest. Runecraft extremely reliant on drafting the synergy between Earth Sigil and Earthright, and also spell boost and spells, right? We got some good cards. If you actually check at Rune, we got on 6 the Mr. Heinlein, and this is simply broken card. This is what makes Runecraft good right now. It's a 6 mana 5/6 that has ward, so premium card already, and it will also spell boost everything to 5, which is kind of amazing, right? All your Fury Embraces become 3 drops, all your Wind Blasts become 5 damage, all your Enchanted Swords become 2 mana, all your Blade Mages become 1 mana. This card is simply Daria. It's at Daria power level on Arena. Not talking about when you get both this and Daria. This is so much consistency. So Rune actually able to play on Spell Boost right now with this addition of this card. But you still rather prefer some Earthright, even though it's really hard to draft Earth Sigils. Usually you will get around 4 or 5 Earth Sigils. If you are more lucky, you can get like 6 to 8. And then you also have to get the Earthrights, which are pretty rare, but you can get Hollow Golem, you can get Master Mage Levi. Master Mage Levi is very good whether you get the Earthright or not. So yeah, this is definitely a 4-star card. I explain star rating in the next video, guys. I already have it recorded, so yeah. I don't know why I recorded backwards, but it's breaking the fourth wall, guys. And Forest is very reliant on drafting your combo cards and your hand size card. Which means you will need cards like Jungle Warden, it's a big value card, right? You will need cards with combo like Crystalia Tia, like Underbrush Beastgear, right? This is a very good card, but you need to combo it out. And to do that, you need a lot of fairy generation, and we actually don't have that much fairies. What you can draft is 1-drops, right? We have Water Fairy, we have exactly Water Fairy, Felpur Kitten, and that's our 1-drops, I guess. But we get a lot of fairies that are 1-drops, right? You get Fairy Whisperer, you have Elf Bard, you have... where is it? I mean, Tweedledum Tweedledee is also like kind of playing 2 1-drops, because you literally... what it does is adds 1 number to the cards of play this turn. So it means that you play 2 cards for cost of 2, so literally playing 2 mana into 2 1/1s combined into a 2/2, right? Alright, then we have Wood of Brambles, which is an amazing card. Elf Twin Assault, which is also glorious. We just have to play around it. And we have something that other classes don't, and that's why I believe that Forest is not that behind. If you type in neutral, we have this package, and this package is so good. I'm telling you guys, if you check Elf Twin Assault, if you have like 2 cards, it becomes the Dragonet Fist that doesn't discard your card. It's great. If you have 3 cards on Flower Princess, you get the free Thornburst, that's amazing. But even if you don't have 4 mana, 2/4 draw, 2 fairies is good enough. And then of course Beauty and the Beast. If you can keep the hand size, it's 6 mana 7/8, and that's enough, you are happy with that. But if you make it unkillable by having 3 neutral cards, this card will carry your game. If you can, you probably even prefer the unkillable status instead of the +2/+2 status. So if you have to choose your gameplay between playing like less but neutral cards or more by class cards, you probably want to play a wider spread of the class cards in order to have 3 neutral cards in hand every time. What we also have, Sylvan Elder is pretty bad, you don't want to rely on him. But well, 6 mana 4/5 taunt is average. I guess you could risk it. And Kindly Treant is 3 mana 2/3, so it's very good stat line. You want to draft it even if you don't have that many neutrals. But you always will have at least 10 neutrals, because that's what draft forces you, right? Alright, so card that saves it is, if we go to neutrals, it will be a bit earlier, I believe. Yeah, Into the Looking Glass. this card is actually insane in Forest, and you want to draft every single Into the Looking Glass you have, because you cannot avoid drafting those neutral synergies, even in forms like Hector or even the Sylvan Elder, and as long as you have those neutral cards, you will be really happy about your draft. So Into the Looking Glass, definitely get it, unless you know you are not drafting any neutral synergies, because you went, for example, for Hand Size deck, and not, well, Hand Size deck actually works great with neutral synergies, but yeah, another great card is Emperor Kaiza, because you will get this carrot infinitely in your hand, which will boost your synergies very well. Alright guys, but let's cut it here. So, in conclusion, the easiest classes to play with are Shadow, Dragon and Sword. The best classes to play it if draft correctly are Heaven and Blood. And the classes that you probably can get a lot of consistent 5-0s with, but it's really hard to draft them correctly, are Forest and Rune. Now let's go into Arena and let's pick the draft. Alright, so as I said, we have actually an example of every tier here. We have Blood, which we could draft very aggressively. We could get Forest and try to draft the synergies, or we could get Dragoncraft and just draft well-rounded deck. If you are new to the arena, I very highly recommend you play with only Shadow, Dragon and Necromancy. No, that's Shadow. Shadow, Dragon and Sword, there we go. So we'll pick Dragon here.
The skies are all mine!
Now guys, your first pick is always a legendary pick, alright? You get 2 pairs of random legendary or legendary or golds, and as long as I am not mistaken here, I believe that the only legendary neutral minions that do not appear here are... I actually don't know if there is a single like of that. I have no idea. Guys, I am not well informed. I'm doing a guide on Arena, but I'm not informed about this one. I actually looked for this information very hard, but couldn't find it. But from my experience, it is that you can find every neutral legendary in this phase of the pick. So let's see what we have here. We have Vermgod of the Skies and Phoenix Rider Aina. They are both pretty bad. I mean, Phoenix Rider is fine, but Vermgod is pretty bad. We have Greya, which gives you a very good board clear on turn 8. And we have Queen of the Dreadsea. Queen of the Dreadsea is terrible unless you pick a lot of expensive cards, like both from Neutral and Dragon. So actually Greya is an expensive card, right? So these 2 cards are synergistic with each other. This is also something you should look into, because Vermgod of the Skies and Phoenix Rider don't really synergize that well, because Vermgod generally works when you have empty board. People will always kill other units over your Vermgod. That means that when your entire board is cleared, your Phoenix Rider will come into play and will be literally a 6 mana 2/10 that has Storm. That is not optimal. So we'll pick the synergistic card here. I believe in Queen of the Dreadsea. Generally you want to avoid her, but I believe in her. Alright, then we have Dragon Scyther with Luxwing Kit. This is a common, like your second pick is always common. So Disaster Dragon, as I said, is really important to have your 5 drops. Because when you go first, you need to evolve a 5-drop, and Disaster Dragon is really good. It can kill very high health targets. Dragon Summoner, not so good of a 2-drop, but as a stats goes, but definitely good when it comes to draw. So I would say that I will risk the Dragon Summoner with Disaster Dragon here, and we'll pick it. Alright, we have Ramp. You probably want to pick every single Ramp cap you see. Draconic Fervor is amazing on Arena because it also draws you cards. And Draconic Lance, as you can see, it's very easy to pull off. Like, usually you play this on 4 mana. I don't think there will be a game when you play it for 6, but if you need so, you have this option. So we'll pick Draconic Lance with Draconic Fervor here. We could pick Alpha with Lightning Blast, but we are early into the draft, so we want more of a consistent card, and these are very consistent. Ramp is generally consistent, because it gives you more mana to play with, right? Also, you noticed our third pick is Silver's pick, right? So we get 1 Bronze pick, 1 Silver pick, and 1 Legendary pick in first 3 picks. So we'll pick the most consistent cards here, which are Draconic Fervor. Now, from this point on, you kind of want to go pick the better cards when it comes to quality of the card. but you don't want to disregard your curve, right? We'll definitely pick ramp with Dragonguard here, because Dragonguard is again a premium stat line with an effect. Island Well is also a pretty good card, but Queen Serpent is terrible, so we'll pass on the left here. We'll pick the right here. We are actually getting plenty of ramp. Alright, now, speaking about consistency, Goblin Mage with Fonchu Hunter Fina is one way to go to the consistency, right? They both draw you cards, which means you will get consistent curves. But they are not 2-drops, and we are lacking 2-drops. I think it's early enough in the draft that we can still disregard our curve a bit and pick better cards. Left side is also very valuable because Axe Fighter is actually a 3-drop and a 6-drop depending on what you need, and Old Cat is very good 2-drop. It's not premium, but it's very good. So we have already got our 6-drops in form of Draconic Lens and Draconic Guard, or Dragon Guard, and we already have our 5-drops, right? But you can also see that we have 2-drop kind of secured by the Dragon Oracle. We will be mostly mulliganing for our Dragon Oracle in this draft. So I'm gonna say that we take some draw here and beat our opponent by playing more weaker cards instead of playing on curve but very strong cards, right? Because we'll be playing still off curve because of the ramp. Okay, now here we can get in both picks we have also notice again. Our last pick was silver, and this pick is also silver, so pick 3, 4, and 5 are silver. We can get Pyrox and Dragon, or Noxus Dragon, and then Rough Drake or Hippogriff Rider. I'm gonna say that we want Rough Drake, because it's much better than Hippogriff Rider. In form of 4-drops, I guess they are the same. They are really the same. You kind of want the defensive stat line on Arena, but it's fine if we get a 4-3. So we'll pick Rough Drake here. Then we get our bronzes, and I really don't want to pick Queen Serpent, to the point that I will avoid her completely and pick the right side not thinking about it. Okay, then we have another card we want to avoid, Spellbook Decryption. We want to avoid this card, so we'll pick left side not thinking about it. Angel of the Ward is too weak to justify playing the Spellbook Decryption. Now, on 4, we kind of want minions, because look at that, we are already half through the draft, and we have almost no 3 and 4 minions. Our mid game is really weak. So we'll actually invest in a 3 mana 2/3 here. It will nicely fit our curve. Oh, and then we got Actress and Gourmet Emperor. It's amazing that we got it here, because look at this, this is actually the random neutral. Actually, neutral picks are random between bronzes, silvers, and golds. I don't think you can get a random legendary. I'm pretty sure that on the next pick probably we'll get a legendary neutral pick, right? So we'll pick Feria and Kai'Sa because it fits our curve very well, and also the Carrot will help us play turn 4 consistently, right? Because we will have something to play on for every time. Yeah, there is no... I'm mistaken? No, I have no idea when the legendary neutral is picked, or the gold neutral is picked. Alright, so we'll take another Dragon Oracle. I really want to draft this deck rampy, because we have good ramp cards. So we'll pick this. Why not? Our main goal is to find 4-drops right now. Alright, so we are going rampy, but I don't want to go too rampy with this, because Master of Draconic Arts is kind of low quality. I mean, it's not that bad, but it's a 3 mana 1/4 ward without effect in the early game. You could play it, but Fortress Crab, even though I love Fortress Crab is not good unless you drafted Jabber's Walk. So we'll go with Old Guardian and Rough Drake. We have plenty of 5-drops, as you may notice, but also notice that if we actually get our ramp early in the game, and we are going second, our turn 4 will be on 5 PP, which means we'll get to play a 5-drop on 4. And we'll be trying to do that. Alright, we are pretty low on removal, right? If we check our deck, always check your deck, guys. It's very important. We have only Draconic Lance as our removal. So we'll pick Call of Cocytus here. Also, X-Fighter fix our curve on point 3. Snow Whitecat Sage is really good here. Explosion is also really good here, but I feel like we have enough 5-drop minions and we want some consistent early game now. So we'll pick the early game. Basically, this is the only early game card here, and that's why I pick it. Alright, then we have some more early game. You have to check that you are pretty far into the draft, which means that you need to get as much curve fillers as you can. We'll get Blazing Breath and Dragon Tamer, and then we'll hope that in our last pick we'll get some 4-drops or some more ramp, like Sibyl or something. So let's get early game here. And what do we get here? We get Dramatic Dragonblader with tilting at windmills, and we get Red Rageworm with Breath of the Salamander. So we have to see, what neutrals do we have? We have Feria, we have Gourmet Emperor, we have Carrot, we have Goblin Mage, we have Fina, we have Goblin Princess, and we have Call of Cocytus. So, and we have Queen of the Dread Sea. Guys, I don't wanna meme here, but I think we are gonna meme. Because now you have to evaluate this card. Look at it this way. We have Breath of the Salamander with Red Rageworm, which will secure our early game, right? We'll get additional 2-drop, additional 3-drop. We'll be very happy about that. But look at tilting at windmills, and look at this potential. Our Queen of the Dread Sea can actually chip down our Call of Cocytus to 0. I mean, not exactly Call of Cocytus, but imagine this. You play Call of Cocytus on 8, and then on 10 you drop Queen of the Dread Sea, and you drop, tilting at windmills for 0, and then you drop Servants of Satan for 0, and you Stormface for 13, and develop a 7/7. If you had tilting at windmills on the board sooner, you could also storm the Queen of the Dread Sea for a total of 20 damage. I think this is a finisher that is worth looking into, because this doesn't actually hurt our consistency that much. You can always just not play the tilting at windmills, or play it when you have free turn. Dramatic Dragonblader is also a card that you will usually play on evolve turn. You don't want to play it without evolving it. So this will fill our 4-drop curve, right? Because our only 4-drop is Noxus Dragon. So I guess that Dramatic Dragonblader and tilting at windmills actually fit this deck very well when it comes to synergy. But if you want more consistency, if you don't want to play around with these combos, I guess you want to pick left here. I want to play around with these combos, and I will be playing this deck on stream, so I will pick the memes here. Alright, so this is our deck, guys. You have to evaluate. So as you can see, we have 1, 2... Actually, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11... How did it come up to 11? One, two, three. Oh, I didn't count this. Alright, so 14. So 7 picks will be class card bronzes. Then we have neutral bronzes in... Well, neutrals are different counted, so yeah. Then we have class silvers, which will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3 picks. Then we have class golds and legendaries, which will be 2 picks. And then we have neutrals, so the remaining of 3 picks will be neutrals. Wait, only 3 or 4? Am I crazy? I always thought it was 4 or even 5. 15 picks. 7 plus 3 plus 2. I think I lost my count, guys. But anyway, you can count yourself here, because I am apparently not good at math. And you don't really want to predict your draft, guys. You never want to jump into it like, alright, I am gonna get Jabber's Walk as my last pick, so I will draft this Fortress crap. You don't wanna do this. You want to draft with what you have and always look back at your deck. So I'm pretty happy about this deck, how we drafted it. We have plenty of ramp. We have very high chance of actually ramping on turn 2. Because remember, we are playing only 2 copies of Dragon Oracle, but we are also playing only 30 cards, not 40. So yeah, I'm actually very happy about this deck. I'm kind of sad that we have only 1 4-drop, but I hope that this won't hurt us much. Also, we have this crazy finisher that can work very well. So guys, with that said, I guess that's how you draft, right? You want to pick value cards, and on last 5 picks you want to fill your curve. And on first 10 picks you pick generally only the good cards. On next 10 picks you pick the good cards that fit your curve. And on last 10 cards, so 5 picks, you pick basically curve fillers, unless you get some amazing option like this finisher we got. So guys, I hope that kind of enclosured you to how to draft Arena. If you want more insight on this, I will be available on stream from 3 PM every day, except weekends, I guess. Sometimes I stream on weekends, but not always. And you can definitely come by and ask me any questions. You can also join some Discord channels. I won't link you any this time, but there are a lot of easy to find Discord channels when you can ask people for tips on Arena. So guys, with that said, we'll cut this video here. Thank you very much for watching, and be wary that my class evaluation, my cards evaluation, videos are coming very soon. With that said, peace out.